Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Dungeons & Dragons: The Second Age. How are we all?
Great.
Yeah, we're good.
Good.
Hunting down a demon somewhere.
Indeed.
Demons!
Speaking of which,
Mom.
who would like to remind me of what it is that happened previously on our show?
Probably. Oh, we left off just as we got the letters, and we came back. We just arrived back from what's it called?
Helm's
Silver
Blessing.
Crag? No, Helm's Blessings. Silver Crag.
Nearly there.
Wrong place. And well, one of the letters contained a not so subtle threat to Kelariis. We spent a lot of time trying to figure out what to do. We kind of set up a plan, and then Kelariis got ambushed while she was in bed by basically a designer
silencing
assassin.
demon, yeah.
Like just a designer demon.
Designer.
Build a demon. It's like a really messed up Build-A-Bear workshop.
After which we kind of realized that we might need to be a little more proactive in hunting down whomever was sending these things, because the demon itself had like a second message attached to it. It's like, there will be more, which is never a good thing,
No.
No.
especially since it did quite the number to Kelariis, even though she lived, luckily enough.
Yeah, thank God.
Yes. And after that, we set out in the morning we had one group try to track down where the demon came from, and the other group took care of some business in town. And on the way back, we met back up again.
Yes.
And I think that is pretty much where we left off.
Yes, you returned to the Amber Eagle's fortress, discussing plans and theories as to what to do next, and so I guess we resume with you guys. You enter through the gates into the fortress compound, and you are discussing what your next plan of action is.
So we've arrived back.
Yeah, you are literally stepping in through the gates.
Well, I guess I'm guessing we wouldn't be able to track the demon back much further than you already had, or would it not really be helpful?
I think... Well, first of all, we shouldn't talk about this in the open.
Fair enough. Well, let's head up to the war room. Because there are some small things that I realized we might to keep in mind. But yeah, I guess up to the war room. Whoosh. Bypass Vandal.
Okay. So yeah, you guys enter into the main building, head upstairs. There's the sounds of combat drills going on in the hall. As you step into the war room.
Okay. Well, we will definitely be heading out after whomever has sent this threat. There's just one. I think the main thing that I was worried about that we should probably decide on early is: do we take Fasira with us just in case?
Yes. I don't want to... Even though the things have been coming, or seem to be only sent after me, I don't want to leave her.
That was what I. I guess, are there any objections?
Nope.
Well, then that's
I mean-
decided.
I mean, we'd have our hands full keeping her safe, but I don't think it's outside the realms of possibility.
She can take care of herself well.
Yes.
And
So that
she
leaves-
is my squire. Well, I guess still squire, yeah.
Yes.
That is my own responsibility if it comes to that.
Well,
But yeah, to answer your earlier question, Grim, I don't think we could track it much further. I mean, I'm obviously not an expert tracker, but they would have gotten fainter, and
I think we could have tracked it.
as it was following a main road, there would be lots of other tracks. It'd be a lot easier to lose it.
I think we could track it further.
And also, yeah, it wouldn't exactly be a short journey.
Well, I don't think the length of the journey is up to us in this case.
Well,
Yeah.
no, but I mean, like, if it's the thing you wanted to do, we couldn't exactly, stay here. We'd have to move with it. Is my point.
Oh, I know that it's definitely. Well, that's why I asked if we should have Zero with us, because I thought that was pretty much assumed. However, so we determined that it followed the main road, and I think do we. Yeah, so I guess we just follow the tracks, or do we just follow the main road? What would be better?
Well, the
think-
tracks would be hard
like-
to follow on the
I feel
main
like the
road because they'd be worn down by other
Well,
foot traffic, and it's not.
I was hoping
not
for
exactly a
input
quiet.
from our actual tracker.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I mean, we could still follow the tracks. I just didn't do it at the time because, we weren't prepared for a longer excursion, but there was still tracks I could follow.
Yeah, you also have a few supernatural tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah. It's not just me with my own eyes.
Okay, yeah, that helps.
Then I guess the main point of order before we continue is: do we have any business we need to take care of before we leave, or set out again?
Don't think so.
Okay, good. Well, I guess we best inform Vandal and yes. We should probably also inform Sedani.
Yeah, I'm sure she'd like to know those things are going to be out of her hair.
When
Yes.
do we plan to leave? Morning?
I think we'll gather our supplies and we'll leave as soon as possible, I assume. Or do we want to leave tomorrow morning?
I mean,
Considering
if we leave tomorrow morning, it gives us. I guess we'd be able to travel longer. Like, we'd be able
Oh.
to take better advantage of the full day.
And Kelariis would actually get to rest.
And that.
Oh yeah, Kelariis has not had a proper rest yet. Okay, we'll leave tomorrow morning then. Meanwhile, we should make some preparations. Yeah. Well, I guess that's it.
Alright. And that's what we'll do. And it gives me a chance to rejig my spells.
And it gives me a chance to add a spell to my spellbook.
Oh yeah. Well, you can spend the rest of the afternoon doing that, or
Yeah.
day.
I can now spend 6 hours putting sending in my spellbook.
Yeah, you've got a decent. You've got pretty much the whole of the afternoon before nightfall.
Excellent. I guess I would. I'll do I'll inform Vandal and and Sidani.
Okay.
Okay.
And I guess Rascals deserves to know that we're gonna be gone again. Not
Yeah.
not that he cares much, but
He might care.
like I think he's just enjoying
That's
himself.
dubious.
He might care a little bit.
I mean, there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
Well,
he does like actually consider you guys friends, at least in
I
a
guess
certain sense. He did give you a gift before you left last time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that is
True.
true. I should also probably ask him. Well, I guess that's for when all this is resolved and have dealt with Demon Island. But we should probably also check in on how him and his people are doing, because he might want to make a little trip back to check up on them. I assume he doesn't get to do that often.
You have no idea unless you ask him.
Well, I guess if we're done here, I'll be in my room. It's going to take a while to get this copied in.
Okay. Well. Well, I guess I would definitely start with Fundal. I don't know how much RP would be necessary.
I mean, it's
Unless it...
it's what you want to do.
Well, it's more like I don't know if he has anything interesting to say, or if it's gonna be like, oh yeah, sure, I'll prepare supplies, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, he sort of you explain to him that you're gonna try and hunt this thing down. You tell him what you've learned.
Oh, there's one thing. Fundal, whilst we're gone, you wouldn't happen to have any warding magic, would you? Something that could block demons' access, potentially? Just in case any attempts are made of any kind?
I have some limited capability in that field. Why? What are you thinking?
It's, even though it might not be like necessary, having it prepared, well, probably wouldn't hurt. Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Otherwise, well, I guess just well, stay alert. Although I'm pretty sure you'll be fine.
He nods and sort of says, I think it's more what you're stepping into that I'm a little worried about. If you're going that way, do you still want me to send this letter, or do you want to take it yourselves? The one for Menshire, I mean.
Well, I'm not sure if we're gonna stop by Renshire. Like, we might head in that direction, but for I guess. But look, worst case, if you send it, we arrive and ask again, and you get an answer that like, oh yeah, we already know about. But best case, we miss it, and you can inform us at some point.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, you wouldn't have. Like, you wouldn't happen to have any long-range communication, would you? I can't recall.
I have some that I can prepare.
Well, if you receive an answer, and we haven't made it yet.
Well,
Well,
if I get an answer, I'll let you know what it is, and if you already know, then you already know. But
yes. Well, worst case, yeah, we get the information twice. But I guess I'll continue making some more preparations and go and inform Sadani.
Sadani seems a little bit more concerned at the revelation than Vandal did. She sort of looks a little, almost a little anxious for a moment before she sort of says, "Well, I guess good luck, stay safe, and I'll keep an eye on the place while you're gone."
Well, we'll be taking Fasira along with us because she's the only one that like could potentially be targeted from all of you, and well, as much as I trust you, I feel like we are a little better prepared ourselves. So we'll be taking her along.
She doesn't argue.
Well, and I think that's it, unless you have anything else to report.
Nothing as of the moment.
Excellent. Well, we'll be leaving tomorrow morning. Well, we'll probably see each other at dinner. I will be heading off to Rask.
Okay. You find the lizard man, as usual, curled up in the kitchen. Sort of emerges from his pile of furs, in his heavy furs.
So how are you doing, Rask?
Better than you, it seems.
Oh, it's not that big of a deal. We will be gone for a bit again. Thought you might want to know. However, whilst we were gone, I came to the realization, like, when is the last time you've been in contact with your tribe?
Not for a few months.
Because it might be, we thought you might want to, well, go back again for like just to see, well, check up on them.
This time of
well,
year, they will be sleeping.
Okay. Well, if you ever want to head over, we can make some arrangements. Just want to let you know.
It is appreciated.
Excellent. Well, I am going to continue with our preparations, and guess I'll see you around.
Ancestors watch you.
You too.
Sort of like sits back down in his corner, like starts eating fruit.
Fruit. I love our lizard man.
Same.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I really like him.
He's got to get his 5 a day.
Like, it's a chill lizard. There's like we have the not so chill lizard, and then there's the chill lizard.
Wow.
Wow. Whoa, hold on.
Oh, it had to be said.
Did it?
Yeah.
If we ever meet a drow who becomes our friend, you're going to be a nightmare. There's going to be the hyperactive blue person.
Drow aren't blue.
Drow are purple.
I don't know what the others want to do with the rest of their time, but I will be applying. I'll be tying rope together in order to create an early warning system.
Oh,
And an early
yes.
warning system, so that these people have like ropes to pull in their rooms. It's gonna like slide under the door.
Oh, are you linking these to every single room?
Yeah, like just
Oh,
a
good.
rope,
I did not realize you were doing that for every room. That's
like just like a rope through the middle, and then like just have them
yeah,
like go off to the sides.
yeah. Like it totally makes sense. I just wow.
Up
Fair
to
enough,
you.
honestly.
Okay.
I assume.
I mean,
yeah, we should have enough rope.
I'm pretty sure with your stores and supplies and everything that you have on your individual persons, that's easily achievable.
Yeah. Although I kind of think I wouldn't like within reason, be able to apply to the bottom two bedrooms.
No.
So
No.
that will. So I will not be alerted, but that's fine.
It's fine.
Nor-
You're stomping around upstairs.
Oh,
Not in a
well,
silence
that's the
field, you
problem.
won't.
Well, no, not inside, but
I don't know if anybody else wants to do anything.
Not specifically.
I mean, I would go to kind of like tell Tallithsyr what's up and
Okay.
the plan. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Unless unless Grim wants my help or somebody else wants my help for something, I'll probably just join in with the sword drills. As
Okay.
energy.
Don't break too many swords.
Look. I'll be breaking no swords. It's fine. Well, I'll be breaking as few swords as possible. It's fine.
I mean, if you're going to trade against other people with swords, you should probably use the practice swords, because their practice swords against your real sword will definitely break.
I wouldn't use my real sword anyway. That's dangerous.
But how will it get that +3 to hit?
I think it only gives you a +1 extra, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Look, I'm good at hitting without my magic sword.
Yeah.
I'm just a little better
Oh.
with my magic sword.
Oh, this is fine.
I mean, if Kelariis punches you, you take 6 damage, so that tells you a lot.
Flexes.
Beefy.
Yep.
Extreme beef.
Kelariis just flexes on the background, like, yeah, that's
Yep.
right.
That's potentially enough to knock out a low-level wizard.
Yeah,
Some
that's a fair
low
point.
level
Or a
asshole
low-level
comes
sorcerer.
up. Yeah.
So, Elizabeth, you take some time to copy spells into your spellbook. The rest of you go around making preparations. And yeah, then that evening you go to sleep.
And Kelariis is sleeping in my room.
I figured as much.
And I will alarm the door.
Okay.
Buddy system. Team.
Yeah.
Buddy system.
Okay.
The triple buddy system.
So you have a companion, a rope, and an alarm spell.
Kelariis has never been safer in her life.
You are ready, TM.
DM.
TM.
This is when the fucking next demon that shows up tonight, like, instantly notices the door is spelled and just fucking kills Elizabeth. Like, no more alarm spell.
It's the floating anti-grav demon with silence.
Yep. The anti-grav demon.
I mean, there are some demons with access to levitate, but we won't talk about that.
Like me.
You're not a demon.
No, but I do have access to levitate.
Anyway. So, you guys sleep for the night. And yeah, go ahead and those of you who are changing your spells, go ahead and change your spells. The night passes seemingly without incident. But the thing that is out of the ordinary when you wake up, Grim, is you are awoken. You wake up pretty early anyway.
Yep.
But you are awakened slightly earlier than usual by Sidani knocking on your door.
Okay. I
Well,
will,
you were awakened by a knock at your door, which, if you open the door, you are aware it's Sidani.
I will assume.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, she you open the door. She's standing there with basically two bowls of like porridge in her hands. Offers one to you and sort of says, "Can I talk to you?"
sure. anywhere in particular?
Preferably in private.
We can head up to the war room. The walls are thin here.
Okay. So you tiptoe through the barracks, go up to the war room.
So we have chairs and a table.
Yeah. She like sort of sits down and says, I kind of wanted to not so much apologize, but I kind of lost my cool the other day.
You're referring to the... Yeah,
Yeah.
that's... that's fairly normal.
So...
Yeah.
I guess I just wanted to say that I know the way I reacted might knock your confidence in me a little, but I'm still capable, and I still want to do everything that I can.
Don't worry. You have nothing to worry about. Like, we all have little setbacks. And, well, I'm just happy that it happened in a, safe environment. As far as I can, I guess I would put it. So, the demons are created in order to, partially discussed, and apparently there is even worse stuff out there. I've only read about them in books, but it's the kind of stuff that will, like, make you run in fear.
This is not helpful.
Grim's doing his best.
To be fair, Grim's not the best person to go to if you want comfort.
But so it's a completely natural response, and like, at least you held it in all the way until outside.
she sort of chuckles and just sort of like brushes her hair back, sort of says, "Yeah, I guess I didn't freak out there and then, which was something."
There's also a difference between freaking out in the moment and freaking out after the fact.
Yeah. This is gonna sound so lame. I was kind of hoping that, my first moment of action was gonna be a little more, I was gonna be a little more cool about it.
Okay. Good thing you still have a chance to be cool in your first moment of action. Like perhaps we can I wouldn't say force some action at some point, but perhaps we can see if we can make that happen. I guess we probably won't be hunting demons, but I think that's I think that's the way I'd prefer it.
I think we can start with something a little smaller. It's just I've heard the stories that you and everyone else has told about all of your experiences, and I don't know. It seems like you guys kind of coped with your first major moments a little bit better than I did.
Well, if you think about, like, my first major moment wasn't exactly under similar circumstances. I guess my first major moment would be back when I was still in in service, and like it wasn't that glorious. It was some bandits that we had to take care of, but yeah. To be fair, I am mostly just a punching bag that can tell others what to do. But hey, I'm one hell of a punching bag, and it works. Just gotta figure out what you're good at.
She sort of like she looks at you and it's just sort of a sense that it's just like she's surprised that you're sort of like breaking it down like quite so intently, and she's just sort of mulls for a moment and says, "You know, I guess there's room in a team for all sorts of people."
Yeah, there's you think about it, there's a surprisingly few similarities between all of us really. Like everybody has their own role. The thing is, like, until you know what your role is, or have kind of figured out how you want to do things, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough because you don't know what to expect.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm finding.
Just like, do you go in and swing your sword at them? Do you use magic? Do you do you just run? Who knows? All are like all can be valid at times, but figuring out what you're best at is it's a big part of it.
Yeah. Well, right now it feels like one of the few things I'm good at is getting other people to listen to me and, well, learning sword drills, but I don't know, I feel like it's not really quite the same thing.
Well, that is partially because this is like drills and combats are like, even though you do drills to prepare for combats, you're never quite prepared the first time, and probably not quite the second time either. But like I'm sure you'll find your way, and that's why, like, if the two of us, or well, perhaps the others want to join, but that will be up to them. Perhaps we could. Actually, I have a good idea. I'm pretty sure at one point, Rask will wanna head back to his tribe, and perhaps we could escort him back, because I'm sure we will fight Beast, maybe a bandit or two, and you'll definitely learn a lot about yourself along the way. Even though this will be, of course, still be quite a ways away, it should definitely help you with your confidence. Because I'm pretty sure that any bandits you face will have a pretty bad time.
Well, I appreciate that you have some faith in me. I guess my own confidence has been kind of knocked a little. But honestly, I'd like that, I think. Chance to start things off not too difficult.
Oh, I feel like I keep repeating the same thing, really. Experience in bites.
Experience in bites.
But yeah. Well, I'll get there. I guess we'll just speed it along a little bit by forcing the issue. Which, admittedly, perhaps we should consider doing this after we've after we've figured out how you want to do things. Perhaps you can start helping some of the newbies out in the field, depending on how things go.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I guess I didn't really come here for a sort of a sympathy thing. I just wanted to make sure that you know that I'm okay. If that makes sense.
It makes sense. Just don't doubt yourself too much.
Right. Well,
Otherwise, I guess we could always have a morning spar. If you're still if you've got the energy.
well, I was about to say that it's probably time I set up ready for training, but we could squeeze in a round or two.
That'll be fine.
Okay. You go downstairs and you train for a bit. At which point the rest of you guys are awake and getting ready to leave, I presume.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it does not take you long to pack up your things and prepare to head out. What are you doing in terms of travel arrangements? Are you saddling up horses and things? What are you doing?
Well, I think the problem is, if we're tracking, doing that on horseback might be,
Yeah, difficult.
slow.
Because I don't think we can. The horses aren't going to improve our tracking ability. So there's no real benefit to bringing them.
Well, it will make the trip as a whole go faster.
Yeah.
In terms of movement, but
I mean, the trip as a whole, we need to keep an eye out for the tracks and follow them, and that's very hard to do from the back of a horse.
Yeah, but
I'd imagine.
you can also lead the horses and then ride them back when you need them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also just thinking, we're not necessarily guaranteed to be able to find somewhere along the way where we can leave them safely.
I don't know. I think it'll be fine.
I'm just saying there's a good chance we won't find a stable.
I'm sure we can find someone to take care of them in some way, shape,
Yeah.
or form.
To be fair, feeding and caring for your horses is not really a problem that you guys have that much, what with magic.
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
Although, thinking about it, just maybe it might be worth at least bringing one horse just for logistical purposes.
I mean, if we want to have one that we don't need to super worry about.
Oh, yeah.
care-wise, I can summon my.
Yes, that would be excellent.
I mean, which I was gonna do anyway if we were traveling horseback, so it works out.
Yeah, that would work.
Okay. So no horses, just the summonable.
Let's see. Or actually, before we say no horses completely, how far are the villages to the south?
Far, TM.
So when the map actually loads in high quality, there we go. So you guys are currently just shy of Ivywood Market. If you wanted to travel to Hatcher's Cross, it's probably a couple of days in that direction. going further south is a little bit more tricky because the roads sort of go like this to avoid this bit of land here, which is generally sort of like rougher, hillier terrain. So if you want to go off-road, then you can sort of go that way in like a week, or down to Rorke's Gate in probably about the same time.
Well, if we were to follow the roads, what how do we get like an estimate of like on foot and on horseback, kind of the difference?
If you're purely following the roads, getting around sort of like this direction, probably on horseback it would probably take you just under a week to complete the full, like getting all the way around.
Yep.
Probably about like 5 days or so. And then on foot, make that like a week and a half. It also depends on how much time you're spending tracking.
Yeah, that's true. But like, this is more like to like get like a sense of.
Yeah. Because basically the easily accessible villages to your south is just this bit, because then you get to the mountain range and the desert, which navigating that is a lot trickier.
Also, Rorke's Gate was quite big, right?
Yes, it is a not quite a capital city sort of level, but it is a large city.
So what I'm thinking is, like, if we do this thing on foot, and for some reason we have to go back quick, we can always, we'll spend a bunch of our money in order to obtain, well, horses or transit or something.
That is true.
And like, and then we can always, if we don't need the horses, we can always sell them off again.
Yeah.
We might lose some cash, but.
Yeah, well, the road up this way and to the east, or to the west rather, this is basically like the trading highway of the region, basically, because the connections between sort of everything from like. Everything from the east through like Hearth and Trappers Crossing comes across via Ivywood Market to the west, and vice versa from Castport over into the east. And then Rorke's Gate is the largest capital, which leads up, trading often with the Elven capital up north and also Ivywood Market. So finding transport with like a trade wagon or something would not be difficult, and you might even be paid for your services if you went as bodyguards to a caravan.
We could do that.
Yeah, it's almost like one of the things. Yeah, it's almost as if that's one of the things you normally hire a mercenary company for.
Yeah, that's also true.
To guard your caravan.
You can spread the name of the Amber Eagle as well.
Yeah.
It's a win-win, probably.
Well, it depends on how much it hurry.
Yes. Also, you guys guarding a trade caravan heading north is about the same equivalent of using a tank to defend a farmer's market.
I was gonna say, no one
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's gonna,
Yeah.
I was gonna say one tank's a bit. I don't think that's enough.
But yeah, well, I think if we figured that out, do we want to set off? Seeing if we can track how far we can track this thing?
Sure. What's the plan if we lose it? Are we just gonna head back, or?
I think if we lose it, I think first we'll try some different methods.
Well, last session as well, Grimmy, you did get a when you were fishing for rumors, you did hear unusual rumors from.
Yes.
the town of Rorksgate, or the city of Rorksgate.
I forgot about that already.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess if nothing turns up, we can check out Rorksgate, and maybe we'll get. Well, I don't want to say lucky enough to be ambushed
Maybe we'll
again.
hit two things at once.
No, I was more thinking as in, well, if a second one shows up,
Ah,
then we'll have a new track.
It's very true. Stick around long enough and you probably will get attacked again.
fantastic.
It's not the best, nor safest way, but it is a way.
We
It
could
is
make
a
the
way.
most of a bad situation, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
It's a good thing I have alarm then.
Okay. So you are setting off. In that case, Arya, what means are you using to track here?
Well, obviously I have like my innate abilities, but I can also use speak with animals and plants to ask them if they've seen anything crazy.
Okay.
So probably all of those, I guess.
Okie dokie. So you're
The animals at least know something.
so you're relying primarily on your skills as a tracker, at least for the first part. Okay. So can't remember if you have a particular feature that lets you. Oh yes, so whenever you make a Wisdom Survival check to track creatures, you're considered proficient in Survival skill and add double your proficiency bonus to the check instead of just the normal proficiency bonus.
Yeah, buddy.
And I don't think you get anything else in terms of that, other than the fact that you can't become lost, etc.
Yeah.
Don't see. Okay. So in that case, go ahead and give me an extended survival check. So 3 consecutive survival checks with your doubled proficiency bonus. Okay, so you add another 5 to both of these, I think. Yeah, another 5. Oh no, it's not another 5, it's another 4. So that's 16, 12, and 26. Okay. So, you set out on your path. You travel back to the edge of Ivywood Market where you left the trail previously and tried to pick up the trail on the main road. It's a little trickier than before, but every now and again you pick up these these strange elongated footprints that just are like in the edge, like along the edge of the track, or like there's an area where perhaps like a bush or something has just been demolished by something passing in a way that seems unnatural for something that it's a thing that's been deliberately savaged rather than just a regular travel damage. And probably after about almost a day of tracking, you are probably just a short distance out of Ivywood Market when you lose the trail.
Okay.
So what do you want to do?
So I guess I'll with animals. Try
Okay.
to find to talk to.
So Give me first an animal handling roll.
That's not.
Whoops.
Okay.
I think my animal handling would be better, but
Nope. That's what you have magic for. So, you set out looking for animals to communicate with, until you basically you find like a small with your tracking ability. It's a fox trail. Which you follow for a short distance until you come across signs of foxes.
foxes. I was gonna say Jayla's happy.
Yeah.
Simple to please, it's fine.
So
Not all of us.
you follow it for a little while and eventually come across a fox that seems to be like as the lot of you are approaching, it sort of like scoots away into the bushes and watches you from a distance.
I guess I cast with animals.
Okay.
And I attempt to communicate with it.
So you cast Speak with Animals.
Here's a top tier plan. Let's feed it.
Yeah, I guess.
That's how you get it
Comprehend
to
and
trust
verbally
you.
communicate with the beast situation. Okay. So it's still scared of you, but you can now communicate with it.
Yeah, I guess I sort of get down on my knee, get level with it. And, I just say, excuse me, we have a couple of questions that I would like to ask. You have a minute?
The fox regards you quizzically and just sort of it sort of like shrinks to the ground and sort of says, "Don't come closer."
I won't come any closer. I've been tracking something and I needed to know if it had passed by here.
What are you looking for?
We're looking for a demon. Huge and has a terrifying mouth sort of thing. Seen anything like that?
It's sort of like its eyes sort of like flick from one side to the other and just sort of have not seen anything like that. I did smell a bad smell.
Oh yeah? Do you know which way it was coming from?
It nods as much as in the way that a fox can nod. And just sort of says, smells like death. In that way. And it sort of like indicates a direction.
Oh, that's very helpful. I don't suppose that you know any other people, any other ones around here that would be able to know anything else?
Ask birds, they see much.
Okay, that's good.
Just sort of like begins to sort of slope away from you.
Thank you very much. And yeah, I will get out like a little food, like toss it at it.
Okay, you just like toss some jerky into the floor. It just like looks at it and stays where it is.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just leave and leave that there.
Okay, yeah. You wander off. So you're presumably heading in the direction it gestured.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I've just remembered, you know who else could help us with tracking?
Yeah, Lyra.
I was also going to say Scarlet.
Oh.
But I thought it, but I was like that would mainly be based on smell.
Yeah, Lyra and Scarlet's tracking ability is pale in comparison to Arya's, simply because she is
Oh, yeah,
a
I
human
know.
and a humanoid and understands more.
I know, but if what we're looking for is a bad smell,
Yeah, but a 2-day-old bad smell, or like a full day old bad smell.
Okay, so
not the
I
worst thing
also
we've got
want
to
to
go on.
talk with birds.
okay, yeah, so you're sort of like looking around. There's a number of birds sort of just like sitting in the trees, well out of the distance. With speak with animals, you can understand all it is that they're saying. And yeah, as Terry Pratchett once famously said, the woods are filled with the song of birds yelling at each other to "fuck off, this is my tree," and "have sex with me because I can make my chest big and red."
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah, that's birds.
Wow.
That's birds.
Yeah, I guess I try to get the attention of some of them and try to ask.
Okay. You sort of like shout to the birds, or like call up to the birds, and then just like there's a big black crow just sort of like lands in a tree next to you, like cocks its head and says, "Who are you?"
My name is Arya. I am on the trail of a demon that came through this way. Have you all seen anything recently? And I like sort of describe the demon to
Yeah. The crow just sort of like cocks its head from side to side and hops about on the branch and just says, "No. Seen nothing like that."
I don't suppose you could ask the others if they've seen anything.
They will not see anything.
Okay.
Yeah, too busy looking at each other.
Well,
I've seen many things.
like what?
People.
Yeah? Fucking crows.
Crows are great.
Those are great. I love them.
I have seen 4 people.
Or
Dun-dun.
is any one of them interesting?
All of them are interesting.
How so?
One of them can talk to birds.
I had an inkling that this is where this was going.
There are 5 of us, though.
Dun dun.
Oh shit.
There is 5 of us.
Oh yeah, there are 5 of you. Yeah, sorry. Correction. He says 5 because he can count. Because he's not dealing with an imaginary scene in his head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. What a sassy motherfucker.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love crows.
Sassy birds are the best birds, honestly.
Yep.
I've seen other things.
Such as?
Beasts of the forest. Dead.
Yeah. Beast of the Forest what?
Dead. Many of them.
Dead. Many dead.
All in one place. A bad
Where is
sign.
that?
Not far.
Could you show us?
Sort of like indicates with its beak and sort of like hops along a little and says, this way.
Okay, can we follow the
Yeah.
bird? The burb.
It sort of like
Follow the
hops from tree to tree. And as your speak with animals lasts for a little while, Lyra sort of stops for a moment, raises her nose, and just goes, "I can smell it.
Death.
Old.
Wait, does that mean you can speak with Scarlet as well? Or does Scarlet not count?
I don't think
Probably.
Scarlet is not a beast.
Well, in that case, no. Oh yeah, you can communicate with beasts. Can't speak with dragons.
Also not a dragon.
Dang.
Fey fiend or celestial.
Yeah, she does she does understand common though. So
But yes, there is says I can smell it. It's old. You keep traveling forward for a little bit, and as you start to get closer, even you, as humanoids, begin to be able to smell it. The acrid smell of rotting flesh.
yeah, Elizabeth just starts to holds her nose.
Mm. Not a smell I enjoy.
No.
Yeah, I don't like this.
Bad memories.
The crow sort of like hops about a bit. She goes, yes. Bad things for the creatures of the forest.
Do you know when this happened?
A few sunrises.
Did anyone see what happened?
I think everyone who saw it is dead.
Okay. I guess, can we take a look around?
Yep. So, it doesn't take much looking for you to stumble across what has happened here. As basically, there's essentially it's like a small stagnant pool of water in the middle of this small patch of trees. You're quite a ways off the path and the road at this point. Like, you've probably walked for about like 5 or 10 minutes, like away from the road. Basically, this the smell of the stagnant pool of water is almost entirely drowned out by the stench of death, as basically lying face down in this stagnant pool, surrounded by flies, are a number of beasts, a couple of deer, what looks like a young bear, as well as a number of small, like, broken animal bodies, like squirrels and rabbits, that are just sort of like almost like tossed aside, surrounding this pool. From the looks of their their bodies are in sort of like a state of decay, but from the look of their wounds, they've got like a number of slash marks and essentially, like, they've all got like gutting injuries.
Mm-hmm. Like injuries that look similar to what Kelariis had.
In that they are from slashing attacks. Yes, similar in that sense, but that's about the only similarity.
Nice.
Are all of their wounds in roughly the same place?
No.
No.
Well, they are all around like the chest and stomach area of the larger creatures, but on the smaller creatures, they're just sort of, that's the majority of the body, because it was quite a large sweep.
Mm. Does there look to be any pattern to any of it?
Give me an investigation check. No. It is random acts of aggression.
Okay. So
Um,
it's not like any way they've been placed deliberately.
No. With a 25 in investigation, the thing that strikes you is that probably actually some of these creatures weren't killed here, but were rather dragged along and left here.
It's
I
odd.
guess, yeah, that's worth passing on.
That is weird. Somebody might be trying to cover this up.
What do you mean?
Well, if all the bodies were dragged here.
I mean, they've not done a very good job. I mean, yeah, it's somewhat out of the way, but
Another thing as well, Arya, with your natural understanding as a ranger, none of these bodies have been touched by predators, and there's no evidence that any part of these bodies has been consumed.
That's really unusual.
Yes.
I mean, if it wasn't already unusual.
I mean, is this a part of the forest that people would normally come to? Is this a frequented area of forest, or is it like just the middle of nowhere?
It's off the beaten trail in a patch of trees, as much as you can tell from that.
Alright. So probably not very frequented.
No. Well, like it seems like
Okay.
the demon made a mess. Somebody tried to clean it up, or would a demon try? No, there's no reason for the demon to try and clean it up themselves, right?
Could I try and cast Detect Magic?
You can certainly cast Detect Magic. Grim, in answer to your question, yeah, demons are not known for their care for the dead.
Well, and also considering how it just stumbled through the environment, or was no care for plants or whatever.
So yeah, ritual time.
Okay, you begin ritual casting Detect Magic.
I guess knowing that we're dealing with something and or something that is related to like fiendish stuff, and seeing like nothing else has really come here or seemed to touch any animals, could I try to paladin sense, divine sense, to see if it's like specifically trying to see like if there's any bad TM reason that things maybe have not come to this area besides all of these dead animals.
Sure. Give me a... Oh, wait, no, you don't even need to roll anything. You extend your paladin senses into the area in front of you. There is nothing... there's nothing innately of any of the natures that you can detect in the area.
Okay. And it's not like desecrated ground, right?
It is not desecrated ground, no.
Okay. Cool. Great. Fantastic. I mean, that's not great, but that's
Yeah.
useful to know.
Okay.
Is there anything else I can see around here, like tracks or anything?
Okay. You take a glance around, and as you're sort of like looking, your vision, you see something move in the periphery of your vision. You turn around and look, and standing behind a tree is what looks like a humanoid figure who has got like basically like congealed mud on their face that is like painted to be, that's almost like, looks like tree bark from a distance.
I think that person's trying to hide.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, only Arya sees this, so.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
I
well,
call
I'm still
out.
ritual casting.
Who's there? I see you behind the tree.
Okay. What you calling this out in common?
Yeah.
Okay. The figure freezes in place, doesn't move for a second, and then calls back to you in Elvish and says, I guess along the lines of, "Who are you? What are you doing in this place?"
My name is Arya, and I am a member of the Amber Eagle. We've been hunting for a demon that attacked one of our members, and stumbled upon this place.
The figure like sort of like steps out from behind the tree and starts like walking towards you.
Is this an elf? I guess.
You with a cursory examination, now that you can see them more clearly as they approach, they appear to be either wood elf or half elf. It's kind of hard to tell. The elven features are very exaggerated, but the ears are very short. They sort of approach towards you. They basically are wearing like what looks like almost like a mud brown sort of robes. Have this mud caked on their face and are walking with like almost like a not I don't want to say a limp, but it's like they clearly favor their right leg when they're walking.
Mm-hmm.
And they sort of like come towards you and sort of say, they switch to common like as they approach and sort of say, "A demon, you say?"
Yeah. A demon stuck into our base. So, we've been trying to find it.
Yeah, you know, mostly invisible, creepily long neck, scythes for hands.
I think more importantly, we're trying to find the source.
Yeah, we're trying to retrace its
The demon
steps.
is dead, but we need to know where it came from.
Yeah.
I have seen no demon. I suppose the best word for it is caretaker.
Cared.
Yes, I look after this place. Keep it tidy. These creatures, I found them strewn all the way up this path, or up this forest trail. I thought at first it was humans, but now you mention demons, something is not right about these bodies. They are not touched by predators. There are not many creatures in this world that kill purely for sport.
No.
So you moved the bodies here?
I brought them here, yes. I'm attempting to cultivate new life.
New life.
Yes. From death springs forth decay, which brings new life. 'Tis a teaching of Melora.
Don't tell me about the deep magic. It was there when it was written. No, yeah. Familiar.
Yeah, that it's you recognize that is indeed a tenet.
Regardless of the fact that it's a tenant, it's always good to know that it's actually being applied for Laura instead of someone less favorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of elves serve Melora, so.
Yes, particularly wood elves. I mean, the elvish... The elves do not call wood elves, that's a human term. But
Yeah.
the elvish for wood elf is... can be loosely translated as Melora's children, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, like this, the elf sort of like, or half elf, you're not sure, bends down and sort of like, their, the forearm of like their left arm sort of like begins to like take on this yellowish green sort of like aura, and the body in front of them sort of like for a moment like the decay seems to like accelerate, like almost like in front of your eyes, and you sort of like leans forward and says, when a life is taken, it can be returned to nature. My job is to make sure that that cycle is observed. Hopefully once this sad scene has passed, it can become a new garden.
Yes, it's a fortunate loss.
So is there any point in me finishing this ritual?
Delph like looks up at you and just sort of says, "You are skilled with the arcane."
Yeah. Well, I mean, this one's not a particularly impressive spell, but yes, I am. I suppose you could say that. Why do you ask?
Do you have a skill for finding people?
Not people.
I can do that to an extent, but it's not a particular. They'd have to be something by. Sort of.
Perhaps I do not know for sure, but before this happened I saw one who did walk this trail, one that I had never seen before. A halfling. There was a strangeness about them, as if they were looking for something. it is difficult for me to describe. I watched them travel for a short while, and they looked from place to place, seemingly trying to find something and having a discussion with someone that I could not see. And this was days before I found these creatures.
I don't suppose you saw where they went.
They travelled south. I do not know if they found what they were looking for.
What did they look like?
Well, I did not see much of their face, but they were short, as halflings are. They had a beard that came to a point on their chin, and they wore a red coat. That is as much as I recall, really.
Well, it's at least a start. I have a feeling they were probably involved with all of this.
This figure you say you couldn't see, was that because of the way you were, the place you were hidden when you were watching them, or just because there didn't seem to be anything there?
Well, the manner in which they spoke to them was strange. There seemed to be a conversation of sorts, but they would address trees, the air itself. Either they were holding a conversation with themselves, or somebody that I could not see, who
Was invisible?
perhaps I'm afraid I don't really have an answer.
Sounds like a demon to me.
I mean, it's certainly eerily similar to what we've experienced.
Well, if they're headed south, pretty much where we were going anyway.
Yes.
At the very least, we can keep an eye out for them.
Yeah.
But if this is potentially the person who we're looking for, then where they came from is where we want to go. Right?
Depends.
Or are we assuming that, or are we going to say that if this was our demon, then they split off at some point?
Well, I think we're looking for the origin of it, and it's probably whoever summoned it. So if this
Yeah.
is the person that summoned it, finding them would be a good idea.
Also, like you said, was it a red coat, right? Or
A halfling in a red coat, yes.
I feel like that might be important to remember.
Yeah.
Hmm. So halfling. Admittedly, if they were aware of our whereabouts, then it would make sense why the halfling might send the demon after us, because they wouldn't need any guidance from here on out.
Yeah.
True.
But that might also be a little bit of bad news. Because that means the demon needs to be guided towards its target, and...
Whoever it is might think we're still at the
Yes.
full.
Well, I told Vandal to prep some magic that it could hold demons out.
Well,
So hopefully they're prepared.
I mean, would this person even have any way to tell if he was successful or not? Because if he thought he was successful, he wouldn't bother sending more.
Hard to say.
They staple, or they well, not staple. They added a note that it was the first of many, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they expect us.
So
That just makes this
Feel-
person's actions even more confusing.
I feel like they're just gonna keep on sending them until they know that she's dead.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm sure that the creature will return to whoever summoned it if it's successful.
That is also
Yeah.
an option.
Yeah, I suppose. So if it doesn't return, it failed.
That almost makes me wish you could just fake your death and then just
I
follow it back.
don't know if that would have worked with it.
That is also very true.
Yeah, and we'd have to then
Hard
keep
Go back to
Kelariis
life.
in hiding for the rest of her life in order to avoid this
No.
happening again.
No,
That-
to follow
no.
it back.
Like if it went back to whoever summoned it, we could just trail it.
Yeah, but that's assuming that.
That's
assuming how it actually worked.
that's a lot
Yeah.
of ifs.
Also, it seems like the kind of thing that would make sure its target was dead.
Yeah,
I
that's what I'm
mean-
saying.
There are ways to be. I'd rather not.
And the only
No,
way I can
it's-
think, and the only way I
Like,
can think of faking
don't- I think
Kelariis'
you
death involves her
misunderstand-
being unconscious.
I think you misinterpret this as a genuine suggestion.
No,
But-
I don't want just.
Yeah.
I don't think it was genuine because I think we know Grim.
It was wishful. It was just a wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Have you seen the halfling since? Like, addressing the elf?
Shakes the head.
And you only saw them that once.
I've only ever seen them once.
That's either good news or bad news, honestly.
Well, I guess it either means that they've rebased, or they managed to sneak back to where they came from.
S- Do we have a locate person spell?
Yes, but it
Available?
is not particularly strong, nor is it. I
Oh.
think it's only
I don't know. I was thinking maybe you could set it to halfling.
yeah, but it only
Attacked halfling.
takes me to the closest individual that fits that description. Like it can't be super specific. And it's
Oh,
only
wow.
within some range that's not great.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I-
halfling with a beard isn't that much better.
No, I was thinking. Well, just because if they're in the direct vicinity, we would have a clue. 1,000 feet or whatever it is probably not even going to make it back to Ivy Market.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's
just
okay.
make it to the road. But that was.
Also, if there's a lot of water, I can't detect them.
Yeah.
Oh.
But if we're in an area where we think they may be present, that's definitely something that we could try.
Well, shall we try and continue in the direction that the halfling came from? Should
Yeah.
we?
As a point of clarification, the halfling came from the same direction you guys just came from just now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it came from the south.
He was
Wait, it came from that direction.
no, came from the north, was headed south.
Oh, but so we came from the north.
Yes.
maybe it just confirmed that we were there, and then it decided to send it.
Perhaps.
That's possible.
You know, that
Yeah,
would have.
because I feel like timeline-wise, that would match up.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yeah, you say
have
you say you saw them a few days before you found the bodies. When did you find the bodies?
A day or so ago.
Okay, no, that really adds up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is our.
Because that makes me think he scouted the route, then sent the demon, which just sort of walked through and killed everything.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're following him then.
So, to the north?
No, to the south.
No, to the south. What? I thought he was
Yes.
heading south.
Yes. But like
So he
to the
came
north.
from the north, and we want to go to where he came from.
No, but like he came. Well, we also came from the north.
Yeah, we're going south because that's
Like
where
we're not
the elves saw them go.
You know what? Yeah, I'll just stick with you guys.
because like that's what. Yeah, we it would be silly for us to turn around if we know that it's somewhere in this direction.
All right, you guys seem to be less confused than I am. Let's go.
Yeah, I know exactly what's happening. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm confused by directions.
We came from the north. This guy also came from the north, and we're all going south.
All right,
Indeed.
I'll take your word for it.
So, you set off in that direction. The elf accompanies you for a short distance. But seeing that you are having no trouble navigating the path, just sort of politely sort of bows out after a short while and goes back into the forest.
As we part ways, I will say to him, if more of these weird incidents occur, you can not too far from here. There's the Amber Eagle. If you can send a message there, we might be able to help you in the future. But that's well, if you need assistance, that is.
The elf nods.
Because if this happens more, that would be bad for everyone.
Who do I ask for?
Considering we would be gone, you could either ask for Grim, or you could ask for Vondal. I think it would be best to address it to Grim, because I assume Vondal will understand that, but like that is what I made this offer to help you. If we can also send them a warning later today, or like that you do expect something potentially. But yeah, if you address it to Grim or Vondal, you should be fine. Of the Amber Eagle.
If I see something, then I will let you know.
Yes, and we will do our best to help you.
Disappears off into the forest. Congratulations on meeting yet another NPC that you forgot to ask the name.
Fuck! I didn't ask the name.
God damn it! I was like, oh, we got this, we're fine. And God,
See you later, shitlord.
Yeah, I guess we'll never know who you are.
If anyone is still playing Second Age Bingo, mark your bingo cards.
Yep.
God damn it.
You know what though, guys? I was very, very close to making a comment that may have annoyed him.
Like what?
I was very close to just saying all you seem to have cultivated is a bad smell.
Ooh.
Wow.
Well,
Wow.
Anyway.
okay.
Well, that's Elizabeth.
So, you travel on until it is too dark to continue, and set up camp. Yeah, I suppose between magic and ranger skills, setting up camp is basically no problem.
Just like to put our campsite in a 20-foot alarm cube.
Okay.
So once again, make me
Are you
give
keeping
more
watch, I
evidence.
presume?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a extended perception check.
We're definitely gonna have like a full guard, basically.
Okay.
Full guard.
So you keep a weather eye out while you are meditating. Being winter, you don't notice a huge number of animals passing by, but you do see a handful of nightlife that passes through. There is a somewhat of a tentative stillness in the area as you're sort of watching all of this. Almost as if the forest is slightly in suspense. But you are not disturbed during the night. And I guess you follow this forest trail, and after I presume you're following it to its conclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless anything tells us differently.
Okay. So you follow this for maybe another day or two. Actually, probably a bit more than that. If you, well, okay. Let me phrase this to you in a different way. You follow this trail for a day, and are still not at the end of it. You continue for another day, you're still not at the end of it. You continue for another day, and you're still not at the end of it. However, as the sun rises on the third day, you come out of basically like this you throughout the journey you've been traveling through this like scrubby hill land with like patches of trees and other stuff, and eventually you come out after the third day, overlooking an expanse of terrain that is a little more occupied. You see an extent of farmers' fields, a couple of farmhouses just interspersed, and probably about another day or so's travel ahead of you. You can basically coming up against the horizon is a basically like you see the layout of a city, and yeah, basically you make it to about here, and the city in the distance you suspect with your navigational skills is Rorksgate. Off to the east of you, you can see basically like the small winding river and the fields that surround Renshire. Probably another 2 days' travel.
Yeah, and the trail's kind of ended here, right?
Yes. The trail has ended because you've basically come out onto flat land.
Well, considering what we know, we might as well head to Rorik's Gate first.
Okay.
And then we can circle back if via Renshai. If we don't find anything, that is.
Right.
Okay.
Although I'm not happy having demons sent at us whilst we're in a town or city.
Yeah.
Well, it did a pretty good job of avoiding guards while we were in the fortress.
Yeah, but more people means there are more chances for something to go wrong.
Also, I'm pretty sure that questions will be raised if suddenly we show up with a dead demon shows up in our bedroom.
So that.
And it wasn't exactly subtle on the way in either.
I mean, if we really wanted to combat that, we could stay outside the city.
Okay. So you're approaching the city from across the fields, then.
Yes.
So, you can probably cut across the fields to save yourself some time, considering that it's basically the middle of winter right now and there's nothing growing. But I suppose the question is, do you want to try and stop at a farmhouse to rest for the night, or do you want to camp out in the fields again for the last day? Okay.
I do not want to put random farm people in danger.
Yeah.
Well,
So bad.
and I still want to set our alarm.
Okay. Yep.
So that we all wake up on time. Just kidding.
Yeah. Also, and we should just make sure we're not camping in the middle of a field that belongs to a farmer. That might be a little awkward.
Yeah.
Okay, so you camp out in the basically on a trail between two fenced-off areas that you assume are fields, and yeah, so you. I guess the thing that makes the most sense here is Arya, roll me a. I guess this would be a nature check. Okay, that's fine.
That sucks.
Oh.
Oh no.
What is nature?
What is nature?
What is that?
Okay, so
Nature can be exchanged for goods and services. Wait, no.
you all wake up the next morning, and yeah, you have a long rest, and you are now only maybe half a day's travel from the city.
In
Do
the
not
city.
like.
So I presume you carry on.
Yep.
Okay.
I guess.
I'm sure nothing dubious happened last night.
Nothing suspicious at all.
Nope.
Surely not.
Why would anything suspicious happen? Isn't that right?
I don't know why my nature is always so shit.
I don't know either.
Look, somehow
Actually have a
Grim
flat-
is more in touch with nature than you are.
I know, which is
Well,
so
I
out
feel
of
like
character.
it's a very
Oh.
study
Yeah.
understand.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Elizabeth's
I'm-
very in touch with nature.
So
Elizabeth's got a +6 to nature.
Good
Hmm.
God.
Because I'm smart.
Maybe that's it. I'm just not smart.
Yeah, you need more intelligence.
Same
Oh.
boat, Arya.
Oh, hello again, Rorik's Gate.
so
Nice to see you.
It's so nice to be back, maybe.
Kind of. Let's
as
ignore the fact this is technically the site of our first major mistake.
First?
Oh, major one.
Yeah, I said major.
First?
Actually, no, yeah, that is right.
barrel-
We have
the
nearly
barrel
died
was not
before we
major.
came here.
Hey!
So,
I just said it was not major. That's fine.
as you walk up the familiar long street that you recall having been to previously in the last time you were here, towards the town centre, and unlike the last time you were here, well, the first time you came here, the streets were empty because everybody was in the cathedral. This time around, there's a few people sort of like travelling through the streets, huddled up against the cold, moving quite quickly. But the city seems to be very sort of very much less populated due to the drop in temperature and the cold winter.
I
But yeah.
assume Pie Guy is not selling pies today.
He is not.
Oh, but this is the best weather for pies.
Well, if he is selling pies, he's not outside, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, you arrive.
Hey, pie guy. Long time no see.
You make your way to the town square, and yeah, it's certainly a place that held some strong memories for a lot of you.
This is my first time being here.
Yes. Yeah. Because the last time you were here, yeah, Kelariis, this was where you recovered the sword, got the baton, returned the sword to its current state, or what it was before it got upgraded again. Yeah, Grim, the last time you were here, you got really mad at your companions and decided to go off on your own.
That's also true.
Not the greatest.
It's fine.
But yeah, so as you're sort of standing around in the square, taking in the sort of like the grand cathedral and everything around it, we'll take a short break.